Holly Knight on breaking into the Rock and Roll Boys Club, and it's a big club. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music. It's been a real world of rock and roll for Holly Knight. She's been doing this for an awful long time. She's written or co-written a lot of songs for some big female artists. Bonnie Tyler, Tina Turner, Pat Benatar, Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart, Suzie Quatro, Dusty Springfield, Shawn Colvin, Lita Ford. But it's still a boys' club, and she lived in it. How did she survive, we asked.
Well, it was a total boys' club. It was the man cave. I was an anomaly, not only because I was an outside songwriter, because that alone, I mean, in the 80s, it's like everybody, they wanted to be taken seriously as songwriters as much as they wanted to as singers and musicians. So they didn't like the idea of cutting outside tunes, even if their music sucked, because it sort of made them look like, well, if we have to go outside our own band to find songwriters, then it's just not going to look too cool and whatever. So there were select a few songwriters that were sort of entered, that were allowed into their territory, or if you will. And usually it was guys. There were no other girls. I was the only, as far as rock music. Yeah, there was the Brill Building, and that's a whole nother fantastic story. But this is rock music, and I was just obsessed with like guitar, bass bands, and everything that went along with it. Everything, even the images, the way they looked, the way they acted. I just loved the whole scene. So when I walked into the man cave, I was an anomaly because I was a girl and an outsider, so that was a double whammy. But I just walked in and looked around like I had every right to be there, and that was, you know. And if they weren't sure if I was for real or not, you know, it didn't take very long. I could sit down at a piano and play classical, and that would shut them up. Or I would sit down to write with them or give them ideas, and they were open enough creatively to get beyond the male-female kind of bullshit that goes on. Yeah, I just always acted like this is my realm. I operate very well in this place, and I was able to convince them pretty quickly. I can't really say I have any of the Me Too stories or any of that stuff. They never tried to mess with me unless they picked up that I was interested too, and then it was mutual, and then why not, you know?
Yeah, of course. But Holly, you did look the part. You looked like you had that kind of rocker chick, big hair. I mean, it's when in Rome, that was the time everyone did that, right? I mean, you look like you belong in that room as well before you even played the piano, you know?
Yeah, well, I was in a band before I became a songwriter. That's the thing. So I was touring. I was, we played all those places like CBGB's and Max's Kansas City, and then we moved uptown, really cool club where we became the house band, and I was just sort of used to being around. It was just a comfortable place for me to be in. I'm kind of a tomboy, so never something that I didn't blend into. So when I left, I still had this mentality of dressing up the way I would when I was in a band. So, but I know other songwriters that are, they're doing really well, and they're just like rock stars too. We are rock stars. We're just rock stars that, when we write, like when Mike Chapman and I would write in a room, we didn't even look at each other. We were playing so loud, it was like deafening, and we I think we did it because we felt like we were at a gig when we were writing and just improvising. And then I sort of took that with me the rest of my career. I mean, when I write, I like to really turn up loud and just feel everything. And for the moment that I have that song, I'm the rock star. I have to see myself like that in order to make it come out good and have some glamour or whatever attitude, whatever it needs. And then when I turn it over, then it goes to the real rock stars. And I don't mean rock stars like everybody's famous. I'm just talking about the attitude of a rock star. I mean, I have friends that are like, I have one friend who's a genius of photography. So for me, I think he's a rock star, I just mean very luminous, creative people that are talented.
HollyKnight.com is her website. She's a 2013 recipient into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Lou Gramm was inducted that year as well. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. We'll have more from Holly coming up next week. And we've got a backlog of interviews right now. We're trying to get through them. We want to hire an actual editor that'll help us get these interviews out faster because there's only so many hours in a day. Buy a t-shirt. There's links in the description of this video. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music.